February meeting to order. I'll now read the open public meeting statement. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend any meetings of public bodies at which their interests may be discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this provision of this act, the Hammonton Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, purpose, and place therefore published in the Hammonton Gazette, the Press of Atlantic City, and posted on authorized premises. Roll call, please.
Mr. Antonassi is absent.
He is absent and excused. He contacted me. He has a conflict with his coaching job.
Mrs. Bernardo,
She's absent this evening.
Mrs. Burns. Here. Mr. Koya,
Here.
Mrs. Donio,
Here.
Ms. Trialo,
Here.
Mrs. Fallon,
Here.
Mrs. Hunter,
Ms. Hunter is excused. She's with her sister in the hospital this evening.
Mr. Lyons, Mr. Chipione,
Here.
Mr. Mento.
Here. Before we rise for the flag salute, I just wanted to quickly make an acknowledgement. I know last month I had mentioned the passing of Coach France. We've also had a passing earlier on of Mr. Anthony Guerrieri, a longtime teacher and band director here at the Hammonton High School. And, you know, when you talk about the winning spirit and the winning tradition of Hammonton Band, it kind of coincides with that same time period as the football team, with Coach Cascia, where really, you know, if you were talking about the Mount Rushmore of coaches or directors for the Hammonton School District, those two would absolutely be on the top. So before we have a moment of silence, I wanted to let the public know tonight that I was in contact with the family, and I did a little legwork here at the school, and we're going to establish a scholarship in Mr. Guerrieri's name. My wife and I will be funding it this year, and we have assurances from the band boosters, and also I think the family is looking to be part of this, to continue the tradition, so it won't just be a one-year thing. This will be one of the regular scholarships that we give out every year at the Senior Awards, and it's our hope to, you know, have this, you know, molded or framed in a way that it would be set up for someone who was in the band or a musically inclined student or someone who's going on to study music, again, in memory of Mr. Guerrieri, you know, our great former band director. So we will have a moment of silence and then we will rise for the flag salute. So let's have that moment of silence, please. Let's rise for flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, presentations. We're going to have presentations of the Teacher of the Year. Tonight from the Hammonton Education Foundation, we have Kevin Friel, Chief Kevin Friel. We have Roseanne Struble, and we also have Lori Calderon to assist our building principals and handing out the awards. And I have to say, along with graduation, Teacher of the Year is one of the highlights of being a board member for me. And when you look at these schools, you know, they're just brick and mortar. But when you want to talk about the school district, the heart and soul, really the mitochondria, you know, the powerhouse of the school, it's our teachers. And we're very fortunate to have really some of the best teachers anywhere. So tonight we are acknowledging the best of the best, but also keep in mind that we have a super solid district, and that's mainly because of our great faculty and staff. So it's a wonderful acknowledgement, and I'm very proud to be here once again as president to proceed over this, because it truly is an honor for me to acknowledge our Teachers of the Year. With that, we're going to start from the bottom up. We are going to start with the Early Childhood Center, and we're going to have Ms. Darla Soleil come up to recognize Stephanie Dooley.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to announce ECEC's 2022-23 Teacher of the Year, Ms. Stephanie Dooley. Ms. Dooley is a graduate of the Hammonton School District, and she lives in Hammonton with her husband Brent, her son Kelly, and her daughter Georgia, who are here this evening. Ms. Dooley began her career at the ECEC as a K-1 special education teacher in 2014, and she has remained in this position for the last 9 years. Ms. Dooley earned her bachelor's degree from Penn State University in Human Development and Family Studies, and her master's degree in special education from Grand Canyon University. Ms. Dooley has written and received numerous grants from the Hammonton Education Foundation that have benefited not only Ms. Dooley's students, but all students at the ECEC. One of her first projects for which she received a grant was Tray Cafe. This was a breakfast cart at the ECEC that was run by her students in room 3. Ms. Dooley's students took orders during the week, prepared breakfast items for staff members, and distributed the orders on Friday mornings. Other grants written by Ms. Dooley were grants that provided pedal walker bicycles for our students and colorful sensory paths in 2 of our hallways. These paths provide movement and learning opportunities for all of our students. And this year, Ms. Dooley received a grant for a sensory room, which is a quiet place with special materials that help students who may need to decompress. Ms. Dooley is also the advisor for our yoga club, which she started, and she is the crisis prevention and intervention trainer for our building. In this role, she trains teachers on de-escalation and positive behavior management techniques. I remember opening school with all of the COVID restrictions in place in September of 2020. We needed a way to show students how school would be different, how they would need to enter school safely, keep space between one another, etc. I knew the person to call, and that was Ms. Dooley. She and fellow educator Amanda Oliva had played the parts of Piggy and Gerald at school for a special event we had recently. These are characters from the popular Mo Willems books, which our students loved. I asked Ms. Dooley if she would be willing to dress up once again, and yes, it was a hot costume in the summer, and help me make an orientation video for students. Before I even finished my sentence, Ms. Dooley said she would absolutely help. I think she may have also volunteered Ms. Oliva, but that's another story. But thanks to Piggy and Gerald, students felt better about coming back to school. Ms. Dooley continues to look for ways to make learning and life better for our students. She helped put together a food bank with her colleagues, which is housed in her classroom, and she's currently working on another grant. I look forward to seeing what she has planned next. At this time, please join me in congratulating ECEC's Teacher of the Year, Ms. Stephanie Dooley.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. Being named Teacher of the Year is an honor I honestly did not see coming. There are so many deserving teachers at the ECEC, and knowing my peers voted for me is an overwhelming feeling. A little bit about me. I was born and raised here in Hammonton. I graduated from the high school in 1997. I went to Penn State, like Dr. Soleil had mentioned, and then I started a career in retail management for the next 13 years. I always knew I wanted to teach, and I finally got the courage to leave my career and start completely over. I worked as a one-on-one aide in Holy Spirit High School while pursuing my master's in special education. I student taught under Jen Greco at West and was then hired as an aide before getting my job here at the ECEC 9 years ago. Like any true Hammontonian, I moved out of town. Knowing I would never come back to live, my husband and I purchased a home in Egg Harbor Township. But once we had our children, I knew that they had to come here. So we moved back. That's the thing about Hammonton, and as a teacher here, I want my kids to attend these amazing schools. Being a self-contained teacher is many things. It's rewarding and it's tough. It's sitting across from a mom who is crying because she wants to hear her child's voice. It's sitting at an IEP meeting in May, and that same mom is crying and thanking the entire team because her child is talking now. It's watching in amazement what a child can accomplish from day 1 to day 180. It's wishing we had more advocates for special education. It's working with a team of therapists, aides, and so many others to ensure each child gets what they need. Being a self-contained teacher means you have a village. And let me tell you about my village. They are amazing. I have learned to be a better teacher and a mom from my village, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank them. Dr. Soleil. We have been working together at the ECEC since day 1, 9 years ago. You have always been supportive. For example, the last day before my maternity leave, when I came to you hormonal and hysterical, asking if I had a job to come back to. You laughed, hugged me, told me I was crazy, and to go enjoy my baby. Thank you for always listening to my ideas, my good ones and my wacky ones. For my good ones, you not only give me the go-ahead, but you have stepped in to make sure they come to life. And for the no's, you let me down gently, and I appreciate that. But the whole point is your door is always open, and you were always there to listen, and I can't thank you enough for that. Anilda Cullis, my girl. Anilda has been the case manager for my class my entire time up until this last year. I want to thank her for always listening. Her support will never be forgotten, and I hope to pay that forward one day. The therapists. This district has the best therapists. For me personally, the therapists that I worked with, Chrisanne Hansberry, our occupational therapist, Janine Morley, our physical therapist, and all the speech therapists that I have worked with, Ann McGann, Jess Sacco, Megan Dorner, and Stacy DeMarco. Thank you, ladies, for the tips, the advice, and the amazing working relationship. And lastly, my aides. I can sit here all night talking about my aides. Without them, my job would be impossible. These women are angels. They have left on their break to buy clothes and food for students. They have cried with me. They have laughed with me. They made sure I was extra safe when I was pregnant, and they also made me promise never to get pregnant again. My current aides this year are Caitlin Rowan, Kirsten Raymond, Melanie Davis, Sue Reitmeyer, and Colleen Del Tufo. Thank you so much for this honor. It truly is a highlight in my career. Thank you for allowing me to teach these amazing kids every day, and thank you for the continued support.
Next up from the Warren E. Soy Elementary School, we have Dr. Ehrman, or Dr. I'm sorry, Teager.
Not a problem, I answered anything.
They should have put that on it. And recognizing our Teacher of the Year from there, Renee Clark.
Yes, thank you. Congratulations to all of the Teachers of the Year, all excellent selections. I'm very pleased to announce our 2023 Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Renee Clark. Born and raised in Hammonton, Mrs. Clark has taught 4th grade for the last 23 years, her entire teaching career. Interesting fact, she was hired to take my classroom when I moved on to administration. She's still there. Throughout her tenure, Mrs. Clark has gone above and beyond for her students, for her colleagues, and for our school. Mrs. Clark earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 1992, as well as a bachelor's degree in liberal arts in 1997. She also went on to earn a master's degree in school administration. Mrs. Clark strives to make her classroom an ideal place for students to learn each day. She is creative, engaging, and highly effective. She makes learning fun. She gets to know all of her students on a personal level. She is a compassionate educator who can adapt to the needs of students from all backgrounds and all abilities to learn. Mrs. Clark also took on administrative roles such as interim assistant principal in 2007 and program administrator for our Summer Achievement Academy in June 2008 and 9. She continues to be knowledgeable as an educator, dedicated to her students and supportive of her colleagues. Outside of the classroom, Mrs. Clark is very involved in many programs, activities, and initiatives that benefit our students. She is a founding member of our Renaissance Steering Committee and is very involved with our school climate. She has been our 4th grade curriculum and instruction coordinator, our 4th grade level leader for many years. Currently, she's chairing our Read Across America, a family reading night committee, as she has also done for many years. Mrs. Clark never turns down an opportunity to volunteer on any committee, as she wants to be part of providing our students with the best possible educational experiences. Mrs. Clark lives in Hammonton with her husband Greg and son Gregory, who is currently a sophomore at HHS. She and her family are, and have always been, active members of the Hammonton community. More specifically, her parents, the Koyas, were always very involved in supporting school events. I'm sure Big Lou is looking down smiling, very proud of his daughter. Please join me in congratulating Renee Clark, our 2023 Teacher of the Year.
Thank you to Ms. Kieko, Ms. Leonard, Board of Education, and administrators for honoring me tonight as Teacher of the Year. I would especially like to thank my boss and good friend, Dr. Christina Tigro, for her kind words and for always picking up the phone, even when you see it's me calling. Before I start, I have a few questions for the room. Raise your hand if you graduated from Hammonton. Raise your hand if you started your career in Hammonton. How many of you or your children were positively impacted by a Hammonton teacher? How many of you can still remember your 4th grade teacher? With the show of hands, we can see what an impact our teachers had as part of the Hammonton School District. Tonight, I stand before you because of all the amazing colleagues that I work with, my West family. These past few years with COVID have been a challenge for all teachers, and I truly feel that every teacher is deserving of this award. I am truly humbled and honored to be nominated by my colleagues, and I am so grateful for so many mentors, teachers, administrators, and friends I've met along my educational journey who have pushed me and supported me throughout my tenure. I would also like to give a big thank you to my 4th grade team, who has been my backbone for as long as I can remember. Through everything, they have always been given me their love and support, and I will forever be grateful to them. My story is a little different from other teachers. Well, not Miss Dooley. I didn't grow up aspiring to be a teacher. Yes, my sister and I played school at my Aunt Barb's all the time and helped her with her schoolwork. However, I didn't dream of becoming a teacher. I did not choose teaching. It chose me. As a senior in high school, I worked on the high school CIE program for a local law office and graduated as a criminal justice major. I always thought I wanted to be in the CSI investigative unit or maybe even become a lawyer. After a few years, however, I knew this wasn't for me. I needed something more. I wanted to make a difference. I'm thankful for the support my husband and my family gave me during this career change, especially my dad, who would drive me to late night classes. I couldn't have done it without them. My family is a big part of why I am standing here tonight. My career in education started out as a teacher's assistant for Hammonton in 1997. I've been teaching 4th grade for 23 years, 25 years. I lost count, and I will never forget the day Mr. Caputo called me in for my teaching assignment. Mind you, I had only ever worked for pre-K or 1st grade classrooms. There was a pre-K, a 2nd grade, and a 4th grade opening. Obviously, I was hoping for pre-K or 2nd, but to my surprise, Mr. Caputo walked me past the pre-K, past the 2nd grade hallway, and through that cafeteria. I literally cried. 4th grade was not the grade level I wanted. It was the dreaded ESPA testing year. However, I wish I had known then what I know now, that teaching 4th grade would change my life for the better. The core group of teachers back then embraced me and welcomed me with open arms, and were, and still are, an instrumental part of my success as a teacher and a mom. 25 years is a long time, enough to see the many changes evolve over the years, like show and tell. During my time as an aide and student teacher in 1st grade, there was always a pet day. And back when I was in kindergarten, my dad and uncle took our cow Strawberry to visit my class. That's just one of the many ways that education has changed so much over the years, and as a teacher, you must be able to adapt and roll with it. Today, I try to instill my love for learning with my students. I consider myself a lifelong learner, and I love learning new things. But most of all, I love teaching and getting my students excited about their learning. Watching them grow as individuals and learners and seeing how I have impacted their lives drives my excitement for teaching every day. While student teaching, my mentor would always say to me, "Be the one they remember." She was a phenomenal teacher who made learning fun. I strive every day to make learning fun in my classroom and hope that when they get older, I am the one teacher that they remember. Even though I didn't grow up dreaming of becoming a teacher, I am thankful that it found me. In the classroom, I have found my purpose. Thank you again for recognition of this truly special award.
Next up, from the middle school, we have Dr. Rudinsky, acknowledging Maureen Anderson.
Thank you. It is my absolute privilege to be here tonight with all these wonderful teachers from all over the district, many that I have worked with over the years. And I've been here a lot of years. Congrats to all of you, so well deserved, and you all have made excellent speeches. Now it is my honor to introduce the Hammonton Middle School Teacher of the Year honoree, Maureen Anderson. Maureen has been a teacher at the Hammonton Middle School family for the last 16 years. Before that, she was a teacher at Lindenwald Middle School. During her Hammonton Middle School tenure, she's taught 8th grade English, language arts, 7th grade language arts, inclusion, and Wilson reading. She's a certified Wilson dyslexia practitioner and also has a master's of reading from Concordia University, where she became a reading specialist as well. Maureen's impact has been felt on the school community for many years with her involvement and contributions in many aspects of the total school program. She was on the steering committee for many of the anti-bullying and positive behavior programs, such as Renaissance and the Olveus program. She's been instrumental in recognizing students by starting and running the People's Choice Awards, which celebrate standout students. Ms. Anderson also helps our at-risk students with her involvement on the INRS team. Maureen was also an excellent high school cheer coach from 2008 to 2011, and I can attest to that. I was at all the games. She coached one of my daughters during that time, which was a great experience for her, and I could see her level of commitment she had and the pride she took in her role as their coach. A few years ago, Maureen had an idea, and she took a chance, and she was awarded the Hammonton Education Foundation grant. As a result of this grant, the middle school has a regular special daily visitor, Wally, the HMS therapy dog. Maureen continues to be a conscientious handler for Wally whenever he visits now, which is a few times a week. She makes sure that he stops to get all his treats throughout the day, and he makes his rounds to make the school community's day a little happier. You can't help but smile and pet Wally when he comes to visit. Maureen is very well liked by staff and students, not because she is friendly and fun and hanging out with Wally, but because she connects with people and students when others can't. Her lighthearted manner and pleasant demeanor naturally enables her to be a formal and informal mentor to new staff. Maureen lives in Chemung with her lovely family, husband Tim, and her 2 children, Joey, 11, and Elise, 3. I'm also proud to say that before I came to the middle school as principal, I was lucky enough to work with Maureen's mother, Mary Ann Meehan, for many years at Hammonton High School. I witnessed Mary Ann's unwavering commitment and dedication to the student body for all those years in her role as student council advisor. Mary Ann left a tremendous legacy at Hammonton High School, and I can see the same level of dedication and commitment in Maureen. I'm happy that in my first month or so as principal at Hammonton Middle School, I can introduce this amazing teacher to you and say that I now get to work with her every day. Congratulations to Maureen Anderson, Hammonton Middle School Teacher of the Year.
We good?
Thank you, Kim. Good evening, and thank you for recognizing me as this year's Teacher of the Year. Being recognized by your peers is extremely humbling and flattering. I'm honored to represent the middle school. The Hammonton School District has always been part of my life, like Kim just said. Growing up, my sister and I spent much of our childhood coming to Hammonton High School with our mom. The high school musicals, A9, Promenade, are all core memories from my childhood. I had no idea then that Hammonton would remain such a significant part of my life, both professionally and personally. When I came here from my previous school, I could not have imagined the impact this teaching position would have on my career. The district gave me an opportunity to earn my master's degree in reading and become a reading specialist. With the help of my principal and supervisor, I was allowed to get certified in Wilson reading. Together with the other members of the steering committee, we created the Renaissance program at Hammonton Middle School. I spent 3 years as the head coach of both basketball and football cheerleading at the high school. 5 years ago, we had our first ever People's Choice Awards, and if I'm being honest, it's my favorite thing we do there. Most importantly, we wrote and were awarded the HEF grant to sponsor our therapy dog, Wally. And honestly, he's probably the reason why I won Teacher of the Year. Personally, Hammonton has had a special place in my heart. The people who work in this district make coming to work easy. I have colleagues who have become some of my best friends. I have administrators who are innovative and helpful. Because we spend more waking hours at school than we do at home, I consider myself lucky to be surrounded by people who work hard but laugh harder. One of my best friends at work actually introduced me to my husband, so truly the impact Hammonton has had on my life is priceless. I'm sincerely grateful for every opportunity this district has given me, and I look forward for the years to come. Thank you.
Okay, and finally tonight, from the high school, we have Mr. Ramsey recognizing Kelly Yates.
Thank you, Mr. Mento. I truly believe that the Hammonton School District has some of the best teachers on the planet. So being recognized by your colleagues as Teacher of the Year is quite an accomplishment and quite an honor. So congratulations to all of our Teachers of the Year. Now it's an honor and a privilege for me to introduce Hammonton High School's Teacher of the Year, Miss Kelly Yates. Ms. Yates has been a teacher for 30 years and has taught mathematics at Hammonton High School for 21 of those years. She is highly qualified and received her bachelor's in mathematics from Trenton State College, presently named the College of New Jersey, an outstanding college. Ms. Yates teaches honors and CP geometry, and I'm also proud to report that Hammonton High School's NJSLA geometry scores were the highest in Atlantic County. And I know there's a lot of teachers in this district who had a lot to do with that, but I also know Miss Kelly Yates had a lot to do with that as well. She's been a mentor for 6 new teachers at Hammonton High School, has been in charge of our school's support on-site committee for multiple years, a Hammonton Education Association representative council member, and one of the instructional leaders of the high school. Prior to coming to Hammonton, Ms. Yates taught at Edgewood Junior High School and was the student government advisor. She was also in charge of organizing the Senior Citizen Thanksgiving Day dinners, St. Jude fundraisers, road cleanups, and semi-formal dances. Ms. Yates has been married to her husband Stan for 28 years and has a 25-year-old son and 22-year-old daughter. Ms. Yates is very intelligent, knowledgeable, compassionate, professional, and an extremely hard worker. Her many contributions to our high school are greatly appreciated, so it's an honor to bring up Ms. Kelly Yates.
Good evening, everyone. I'm deeply humbled and appreciative of this honor. I would like to thank the Hammonton Board of Education, the Hammonton High School Administration, and my colleagues for bestowing this honor upon me. It really does mean more, than words can express. To know that you're appreciated by the people that you work with day in and day out. I would also like to thank the Hammonton Education Foundation for their generous gift for my classroom. I will surely be, putting that to good use, for the students of this district. Lastly, I'd like to thank my family for all their love and support in all the times that I've tried certain things out on them, and sometimes they were willing to try activities in math, and sometimes they weren't, but they stuck with me, and I really appreciate it. It was about 21 years ago when I made the decision to start anew here in Hammonton. I had given up my seniority and my tenure just because I believed that this would be a really good fit for me. And I found out that that was absolutely correct. I've truly enjoyed every single year that I've been here. And I'm so glad that I did make that change. Because as we know, it's not easy to make change, especially when you've been somewhere so long. So it really has been a wonderful decision. Speaking of decisions and changes and whatnot, since I joined the staff, my own children, have grown up with me being in this district. When I started, my son was just, starting kindergarten. My daughter was starting preschool, and life was very busy, But I truly enjoyed, all the changes and coming here and learning everybody's, names and getting to know what really made this Hammonton. And I really enjoyed, the times that I've spent here with my children and bringing them to, like, the Take the Child to Work Day, as well as coming to all the shows as well. Okay? They've both, grown up with me being here. They're both graduates from college. They're successful in their careers. And it's been a wonderful time for me to work here and to kind of bring them along through this journey with me. And they've also been very good free help when setting up classrooms, because they would always come with me. And I would put them to work. They earned every bit of that lunch that they got before we went home. The pandemic brought immense change to all of our daily lives, and school was not any different. It's been a very powerful catalyst for change in the classroom, and having been a teacher for so many years, I've kind of found that it really has been a wonderful opportunity to learn and to grow and to really embrace the technologies that are out now. I cannot even imagine teaching geometry now without having the Chromebooks, without having the Google Classroom, without having the LCD projectors. Because I can remember back when I used to have to draw every single picture on the board. And that took a long time. And, if you have ever come to observe my class, you know that there's an awful lot of diagrams in geometry. So it really is an amazing thing. And when I've had these teachers that I've mentored, I've learned so much from them. I've taught them a lot of things with classroom management, but they've taught me a lot of things with now, all the technologies and the different ways that people do things. So, it's amazing over the course of the 31 years how much things have changed. And I'm constantly trying to learn and grow and evolve, with the time. So I thank everyone again for this honor. It truly means so much to me, and I wish everybody a very pleasant evening.
Hammonton Education Foundation, or Mr. Friel from the Education Foundation, about the awards.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, our district's administrators, and especially our teachers. It's an honor to be here representing the Hammonton Education Foundation along with our Vice President, Lori Calderon, and our President, Roseanne Struble, who left me standing up here by myself. I thought they were getting up here with me, but that's fine. The Hammonton Education Foundation was formed in 2004, and its main objective and purpose was to raise money for our Hammonton School District to provide grants that enhance the quality of education for the students in our Hammonton School District. Our fundraisers have included Recycling Central, the Blueberry Bush, which now is Blueberry Bushes, plural. There's one here in the high school, there's one also in our middle school, and we have had the Taste of the Town that we've had reoccurring year after year. A little bit changed with our COVID pandemic, but again, something that we do. And our latest and our most formal that we've done, our Thanksgiving Gala. So all of these things help to raise money for this specific purpose. I want to thank the Board of Education and Robin Kieko, our superintendent, for allowing us the use of facilities to carry out these and to carry out our monthly meetings that we do here at the high school. The enormous and continuous support that we receive from the Board of Education, the school district, the administration, the faculty, the staff, and our entire community has enabled the Hammonton Education Foundation to provide $558,000 in grants so far throughout the years. And $38,000 of that has been awarded to our Teachers of the Year. And this is a great thing because that $500 grant that they get for their classroom that they can spend is over and above what our district provides. So they can come up with some new, wonderful, innovative ideas and things to do to enhance their classroom educational. It's the impact that a teacher has on a student is remarkable. And I just am imagining that you all probably have pre-planned that the Teacher of the Year Award happens in February because we have teachers in our school district that have such a heart, such an endearment for the students and the district that they provide. That's why you picked February. I know, that's exactly why you picked it. It's important because teachers help to mold and shape our children, and we're grateful for the dedication and the influence that they provide. Matter of fact, as Ms. Clark was pointing out about remembering teachers, I have teachers that I had that are in here in the audience. I'm not going to point them out because I don't want to make them feel like, because I'm a grown adult. But yes, they've influenced me, and they've actually helped me to be who I am, and I'm grateful because now I get to give back by the DARE program that I've done, instructing in the classroom, emulating the way that they instructed and taught students. And it's a great thing to give back to our school district. It is with great pleasure and honor on behalf of the Hammonton Education Foundation for us to present each recipient of the Teacher of the Year Award with a $500 grant for them to spend in their classroom. So I guess we'll call them up.
And families, please feel free to come up to take pictures. We'll do them individually, then we'll take a group shot.
Okay, I guess we'll start it the same way we brought it up before. So Miss Stephanie Dooley, please. Renee Clark. Maureen Anderson. And Kelly Yates. We all fit? Yep, with the line angle. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Before we continue with the next presentation and get into the business portion of the meeting, I'm going to call for a 2-minute recess.
He's okay. He came home today. Yeah. He went to the show with Tom. Yeah, good job. Yeah. I will for sure. Yep, you too.
There's someone on the board that was my art teacher.
I'm glad you're saying. I spent 20 was in the practice. Don't turn that on yet.
I'd like to now turn it over to our superintendent, Robin Gecko, for the student growth equivalency waiver presentation.
Thank you. Once again, we have a test score presentation. I thought I'd give Tammy the night off since she's been doing it so much. So basically, the Hammonton District is requesting to substitute instruction and program indicators 4 and 5 under the New Jersey Equality Single Accountability Continuum, or QSAC, which utilizes data from the 2018-2019 and are not reflective of our current population and growth. The district believes it is in the best interest of its students and staff to measure our level of growth using 2020-2021 and 2021-2022 measures. Our growth will be demonstrated using our Lincoln benchmarks assessments. Utilizing data from 3 years ago misrepresents the current state of our academic progress. In addition, our academic programs have changed over the past 3 years to better address the needs of our students. The data that's going to be illustrated in the following slides compares our 2018-2019 student growth percentiles for grades 4 and 5 at West and grades 6 through 8 at middle school in language arts and grades 4 through 7 for math. The Lincoln Growth Profile data compares the amount of growth in a student's score at the end of the 2021-2022 school year to the same peer cohort using the 2018-19 statewide norm data. From the data, you can see that the ELA growth for our West students in grades 4 and 5 shows a comparison of 46 for the 18-19 NJSLA and 56 for our 21-22 Lincoln benchmarks. The ELA scores for students in grades 6 through 8 indicate growth measures of 46 for the 18-19 NJSLA and 54 for those same grades in the Lincoln benchmarks. Math students in grades 4 and 5 had growth measures of 56 in the 18-19 NJSLA and 60 for the Lincoln benchmarks. My numbers look the same. I think I've got the wrong numbers in my speech here. It was 56 for the NJSLA and 60 for the math scores. And then math scores for students in grades 6 and 7 indicate a growth measure of 37 for the NJSLA and 47 for the 21-22 Lincoln benchmarks. We are proposing that this equivalency as a measure to utilize results in growth of our current students and staff as opposed to those who are no longer in our district. Additionally, as we have navigated through a global pandemic, we have devoted a tremendous amount of professional development efforts towards data analysis and instructional plans for targeted skills. With the board's approval this evening, I will submit this waiver as a representation of our measurement of student growth. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving along, we will now go to our committee reports. I'm going to start to my right with Mr. Koya from Safety Committee.
All right, yes, safety, we had a meeting this month. Sorry. Better? Safety Committee met this month, discussed a couple new ideas with Chief Friel. Can't really get into the details, but we do have a couple new safety features that will be heading into our school districts pretty soon, hopefully. That's about all I have to report, and I'd like to congratulate all the teachers of the year, and let's go Birds.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mrs. Donio.
Okay, so I also would like to congratulate the teachers of the year. It's a thankless job, and I really think that we have the best teachers in our district. So
I'm grateful for everything that they do for our students. I just have a couple updates. The one thing I also wanted to do was thank the guidance department for the informational night that was held on January 25th. There was a wonderful turnout for that. It was geared towards 8th grade students through high school. I, as a board member, learned a ton about our curriculum in our district, and as a parent, I learned even more. So I know that there were a few people that couldn't attend, but I would strongly encourage parents to go to the website, and you can see it's really great, and it just gives you an idea of how to help your children choose the best courses. And of course, using the guidance department, because they're incredibly helpful as well. The other thing I just wanted to acknowledge and encourage people to look at is on the website. There is, in the newsletters are in the update tab right on the homepage. There is a newsletter for every school that, I'm not sure what committee of the schools do put it together, but they really are incredibly informative. I read them all today, even for the, I guess I have a kid in each building except for ECEC, but I learned a lot. So I highly, highly, highly encourage you. There were dates on there for, 8th grade graduation and pictures, and I mean, I had so many things that I started writing down. So I really appreciate those newsletters, and I just want to continue to spread the word because there's a lot of good information in there. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is I went to the Atlantic County board meeting that we're all invited to, and that was really helpful. The next one is actually going to be a hybrid, so if you're interested, anyone here wants to go, I'm definitely going to go. But you can go, it's May 2nd, Great Bay Country Club, and it's also, you can do it as a hybrid. But one thing that I wanted to recommend that our board does, I've talked about this before in other meetings, and I don't know why I'm a little off right now, but one of the things that the things was best practices, and is talking a little bit more about the committee reports and the committee, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't remember, but it was a great meeting, and if anyone wants to go to the next month, please let me know. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Donia. We're now going to move to Mr. Lyons from Finance, please.
Sure. So short turnaround from the last month's board meeting, the Finance Committee did not meet. On the agenda, you'll see most of the items from Finance are mostly routine. I would point out, on here, there's a couple jointures with other districts. And for those of you that aren't used to looking at a school agenda, those mainly relate to special education placements and contractual agreements with other schools to provide the appropriate services for special education students. The Finance Committee will continue to meet as we get ready to prepare the budget and go through the wish list and all the things to arrive at next year's budget as we're working through it. So that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. We're going to move to Mrs. Fowle from our Solar Committee.
There's no report from Solar. Just want to give a shout out to our Teachers of the Year, congratulate them, well deserved, what an honor. And yeah, I think to piggyback of what Mrs. Donia was saying, as far as committees are concerned, I think I had expressed before that the solar project is basically over. So we do have a committee for it still, but I'm wondering if we can kind of pivot into, look at the needs of our district and see what we might be able to pivot this committee into, or perhaps create other committees based on, our needs and based on, what's on the horizon, based on passions of board members. I know I'm passionate in the arts, and so, sometimes we have subcommittees for like turf and solar and the ECEC construction, and they're all kind of buildings and grounds, but it might be nice to have a curriculum subcommittee where we focus on arts education. I would love to do something, lead that up, where we can sort of focus on that and see what we're offering and see what we can expand upon, and kind of talk to our teachers and our administrators and see what their needs are and what they like to see for the future. So I would love to, as Mrs. Tonio suggested, like a discussion, an ongoing discussion of what our committees are and how maybe they can be a little more fluid. And so, something to look forward to for the upcoming year. So thank you, and that's my report.
Thank you. Ms. Powell, we're going to move to our curriculum chair, Mrs. Burns.
Yeah, the Curriculum and Policy Committee met. Many of the things are on the agenda tonight that we discussed. I'd like to also piggyback on what everybody else said, congratulate the Teachers of the Year. It's a wonderful group, and I think Sam said the best of the best. And it's an honor to be here seeing these people do their job day to day. I also want to give kudos to the second grade teachers and Mrs. Harriet D'Alonzo for a fine performance on Happy Hearts Day with the second grade. It really shows that we are back from COVID, inviting parents in to see such fine performances. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. And now we'll move to Mr. Scipione, Community Relations.
Thank you. There are several events planned in the coming weeks. Family Reading Night will once again be in person and will be held on March 2nd as a part of the Read Across America festivities. Pre-K and kindergarten registration for students ages 3 to 5 will take place on February 15th and 16th. You must call ahead to schedule an appointment. Hammonton High School will perform Mamma Mia as their spring musical this year on March 9th through the 11th. Tickets are on sale now. The Salute to Seuss first grade program will take place on March 2nd and March 3rd. Our athletes are once again doing well. Kaylee Rainier qualified for the States in the 1600 meter, placing 6th in the sectionals. Kai Presley signed his letter of intent to attend the University of Maine to play football and was also awarded the Mini Max Award. Dominic DeRose signed his letter of intent to attend Regent University to run track. More records have been smashed. Dominic DeRose, Aaron Lasasso, Aaron Mull, and C.J. Handy broke the school 4x400 record held by the 2017 States crew and are headed to States. Girls basketball hosts Absegami in round 1 of the Cape Atlantic League tournament tonight. That started at 5:30. And boys basketball travels to ACIT tonight in round 1 of the Cape Atlantic League basketball tournament. I'd also like to thank all the teachers of the year, especially my boys teacher, Mrs. Clark. And now if I could get the board led by Mrs. Fallon, if we could start the Eagles fight song for the Super Bowl. I believe we want to do something now. I'm just kidding. Go Birds.
Just tell us the key.
That's my report. That would be neat though, wouldn't it, if we all just went into the fight song?
We could.
It's very simple.
We're now going to go to our student rep, Ms. Driala.
So this week at Hammonton is Spirit Week. Tomorrow we have a half day and we're ending it with a pep rally to recognize our winter athletes and congratulate them on their seasons. I know they're not over, but they're doing very well. We just had our NHS induction ceremony, I think a week ago. So congratulations to all our new inductees. The Hammonton chapter is really happy to have them all. Next week is Random Act of Kindness Week throughout the country, and we're really encouraging kids to participate in the high school. So I just wanted to use this moment to tell everyone listening or watching to do something kind next week, just because. Celebrate the week and make someone's day better. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll give a quick buildings and grounds update. We do meet every month, and as you can tell, it's starting to feel like spring in the air. And along with that, our grounds crew are hard at work preparing our spring fields. As you can tell, it looks pretty green out there for February when you go around the softball and baseball fields. So our guys, are absolutely top notch. We're talking about some improvements to be made at the football field, the Robert Capa Ferry complex. We're talking about a track improvement redo, a scoreboard, and maybe even some other good things that we're in store for out there in the near future. I'll quickly put on my negotiations cap. We will be drafting what you would call, Mr. Donio, a sidebar agreement. Sorry. Yes. With the teachers, we are looking into and re-examining our current way our teachers would obtain family coverage. Right now, we're one of the few districts in the state that do not offer full family coverage for our new hires. That only comes to our tenured teachers. So, from time to time, you need to reevaluate, these things, and we think it might be time to possibly go back and make family care available to our new hires and those who are in need of it sooner than the 4-year, 10-year period. Just to be sure that we are holding and we are attracting the best quality, the best talent, because as you heard tonight, for Teachers of the Year, we are very fortunate to have the people we have here, and by no means do we want to do something that would discourage some future great Teachers of the Year not applying or staying here at the Hammonton School District. That concludes my report for this evening. Now I'm going to move to the public comment. This is the first of 2 opportunities for anyone in the public wishing to be heard. Now is your opportunity to come before the board.
Well, this is on agenda items only.
This first portion is on agenda items only, and then the second is a little more open. I believe, sir. Yes. Okay. With that, I will take a motion for our finance items 1 through 22, please.
So moved.
Okay. We're going to give it to the finance chair, Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
Seconded by Mr. Scipione.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Koya?
Yes.
Mrs. Donio?
Yes.
Mrs. Fallon?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Scipione?
Yes.
Mr. Mento?
Yes, motion's carried. We'll now take personnel items 23 through 50. Is there a motion, please?
Motion.
Mrs. Burns, is there a
Second.
second? Seconded by Mr. Koya. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Koya?
Yes.
Mrs. Donio?
Yes.
Mrs. Fallon?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Scipione?
Yes.
Mr. Mento?
Yes, motion's carried. We'll now move to programs miscellaneous items 51 through 59. Is there a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burns?
Yes, but I will abstain on number 58.
Mr. Koya?
Yes.
Mrs. Donio?
Yes.
Mrs. Fallon?
Yes, pending a revision of paragraph 2 on number 57 for before the next meeting. So yes, and pending a revision to the policy.
Okay. Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Scipione?
Yes.
Mr. Mento?
Yes, motion's carried. We'll now move to the addendum. We will take the 3 items separately. I will read those into the record for those of you viewing at home who may not have had a chance to see the addendum this evening. Finance item number 60, resolved that the Hammonton Board of Education approve the 2023-2024 tuition cost for sending districts. Is there a motion, please?
Motion.
Mr. Koya, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Scipione. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Koya?
Yes.
Mrs. Donio?
Yes.
Mrs. Fallon?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Scipione?
Yes.
Mr. Mento?
Yes, motion carries. We'll now take personnel item 61. Resolved that the Hammonton Board of Education approve the following personnel to supervise a student with disabilities at extracurricular activities as per attached. Is there a motion, please?
Motion.
Mrs. Burns, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Fallon. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Koya?
Yes.
Mrs. Donio?
Yes.
Mrs. Fallon?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Shipion?
Yes.
Mr. Mento?
Yes, motion carries. And finally, program students and miscellaneous, item 62. Resolved that the Hammonton Board of Education approve the following policy for first reading, which is Exhibit AA for those trying to find it at home. Is there a motion, please?
Motion.
Mrs. Burns.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Shipion. Discussion?
Yeah, just as I'm rereading, a lot of these policies, we just met last Friday, the policy committee, so it was a very short period of time to try and get these. I did notice you're probably going to see one change on this one in the last sentence that's underlined. It's about recording of executive sessions. You'll still record according to your recording policy, but this idea was that no recording on an electronic device that's being used for purposes of remote attendance. But I'm going to make that cleaner and clearer on this one as well.
Thank you for that clarity, Mr. Donio.
I like to think you were going to stop recording, or making sure you are going to comply with the Open Public Meetings Act, make sure that you do all the things you need to do.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. Koya?
Yes.
Mrs. Donio?
Yes.
Mrs. Fallon?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Shipion?
Yes.
Mr. Mento?
Yes, motion carries. Public comment. This is the second opportunity from anyone in the public wishing to be heard and discuss any matter before the board. Now is your opportunity. I would just ask you to kindly please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, everybody. Before I go on, I just want to say congratulations to the teachers on all their awards. And I would like to apologize that I don't know you guys by name. I'm not familiar with any of you. And it's unfortunate that I'm here under these circumstances.
If you could just please.
My name is
state-
Ava,
Thank you.
Ava Suriani. I live in Atco. My daughter attends your school here. She's in high school and she is a senior, getting ready to graduate within the next few months. On January 26th, my daughter was going into the gym locker room to change and to attend gym, and she was attacked from behind by someone who grabbed her by the hair, banged her head into the locker to where she passed out. When she woke up, when she came to, the girl was standing behind her, still holding her hair and punching her in the face. She passed out again. When she came to, the girl was behind her, choking her, until she started to pass out again. At that point, the teacher came in and pulled the girl off. 2 other girls were present at the time, videotaping this. My daughter texted me from the nurse's office and asked me to come pick her up immediately and to bring her clothes because her clothes had blood on them. I came as quickly as I could. I was in the middle of work, came as quickly as I could. Never received a call from the school. My daughter was unconscious twice. An ambulance was not called. When I asked why these things happened, why I wasn't contacted, I was told it's going to be looked into. When I asked why an ambulance wasn't called, I was told that the nurse looked at her pupils, she was fine. There was no sign that an ambulance was necessary. My daughter's face was completely swollen. This happened on January 26th. Her eye is still black underneath her eye. When the police from the school asked the girl why she did that with her mother present, she said she didn't like how my daughter looked at her. I beg your pardon, but if looking at somebody in a wrong way, and by the way, she didn't like how my daughter looked at her a month prior, not that day. My daughter didn't even look at her that day. She didn't like how she looked at her a month prior. Now I ask you, if you have children in this school, I know some of you do, you're on the safety committee from what I heard, and I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with you. What do you do to stop this? I called the police. When I picked up my daughter, the first thing I did was I took her to urgent care because her face was so swollen, her lip was busted, it was still bleeding. Her nose was bleeding, and she was beaten from behind for no reason other than somebody didn't like how she looked at her a month prior. After urgent care, the doctors at urgent care told me I have to take her to the emergency room at the hospital to get a CT scan since she was unconscious. Took her to the hospital. We stayed there for several hours. They took her in, and that's when I found out that children under 18 do not get CT scans unless they stay in the hospital long enough for them to determine whether it's absolutely necessary, because radiation apparently is not good for them. So after several hours, and with her trying to calm down while she was still shaking, I finally took her home. No CT scan. Her face was swollen. I have pictures. Her lip busted open. She wasn't able to close her mouth for 2 days because the left side of her jaw wouldn't close properly. When I called to see what happens next, what do? I went to the police the next morning, took her with me. The police automatically said, this is definitely a charge. This is not something that can be pressed under the rug. It's a charge against the girl who did this. Yet when I speak with the policeman here, it's not a charge. It's the girl is suspended for however many days. The police, because I had pressed on, spoke with the prosecutor's office several times, met with another sergeant from the Hammonton Police Department, met with the school police officer. They finally came to the conclusion that they're going to do something called a station house adjustment, which means the girl will write an apology letter and do something else. They're not sure about community service simply because there is nothing set up by the school for community service. Apparently, if anybody ever asks for community service, which I intend on doing, they may be asked to help the groundskeeper outside. I don't really call that community service, but if you do, okay, that's fine. I'm asking for your help to set up something where children who are attacked can be made to feel safe again to come back. How does someone, you have children, you said you have children in all schools, you're on the safety committee, you're a student here. If you were attacked from behind, what would you want to happen? If your children were beaten for no provocation, no reason, no words exchanged, no anything, to where they're unconscious twice, what would you want to see happen? Would you be satisfied with an apology letter? I looked on the school board's website. I clicked on a link that said school safety. It's a PDF that was created on March 7, 2016. It's a one-page PDF that talks about if the school is threatened in any way, the police comes in, they'll search the child, they determine whether the child should be taken to the police department, what have you. This was not a threat. This was an actual physical attack, and yet nothing happens. I'm asking you to update your files on what can happen. I'm asking you to come up with a better solution than she'll write an apology letter. Any of your children, if you have children here, any of your children could go to school and be attacked by someone at any point in time, be beaten unconscious, and what you're going to be told is that if the child who beat your child does not already have a record, an apology letter is what you're going to get. To me, that's not sufficient, that's not fair, and it's not right. So I'm asking you to please look at your student handbook. I read the entire handbook. I didn't read it prior to this, unfortunately, but I read it. There is everything in that handbook from clothing that can be worn, grooming. There's things like cell phones, green zones and red zones and things of that nature. Nothing in there about people recording a beating, an actual attack. Nothing, not one word. There is nothing in there about children who, there's bullying, harassment, intimidation, and bullying. That's in there. Nothing about physical attacks. The intimidation, harassment, and bullying talks about if it's against a specific gender, if it's against a specific race. Nothing where somebody just attacks you out of nowhere. So I'm asking you to please review your records, review your numbers. I was told when I went to the police department This was about a week later because I haven't stopped. I went to the police the next morning, then I spoke with the prosecutor's office, spoke with the school police, went back to the police department again. I actually wanted to complain about the school police because I felt he wasn't doing anything, not realizing how much he was actually doing, but his hands were tied. And for that, I apologize. I was told that he is a very good police officer, and I was told that there is so much violence in this school, and I don't know if you guys are aware of it or not, or if it's just being kept quiet. There is so much violence. The day that I went to see the police, it was reported to them that the day before that, there were 4 fights in the school, and that morning, it was 10 o'clock, there has already been 1 fight. Okay, I don't know if you guys are aware of these numbers, but this was told to me from the police in Hammonton.
Ma'am, and there's a 3-minute limit for public comment. You're at 7 minutes, so I ask that you just try and.
And it's not because we don't want to hear, but
That's fine.
there's just a precedent, and I think we're compelled to listen.
That's fine.
We don't hold
I
you
just
to
need
it
to
either
know
way.
if you guys could review your policies, review your
Absolutely.
handbook, update the school safety, and hopefully whatever you said was coming, you know, in terms of safety, it looks at what's happening in the school, not just coming into the school. And do something to stop it before it happens, not after. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming out this evening. Thank you.
Yes, and,
Very sorry.
For people in attendance and people watching on TV, obviously I'm going to suggest that the Board of Education really can't speak about any specific incident, can't speak about any specific student. It doesn't generally address this. However, I would suggest absolutely please make another appointment with the superintendent. And, you know, the superintendent would convey and work with the various committees to address this. I would say also, and again, I'm not going to go back and forth, but the board's policies, as they are being updated, do reflect a lot of the things that you've raised. The handbook gets revised every year, and Hammonton does enjoy a reputation as a very safe school. And I want the community to know that it's generally considered a very safe school with a very aggressive administration with regards to student discipline. One last note I can tell you as someone who represents districts throughout the state of New Jersey, and almost all the districts in Wayne County, there's a real crisis in communities with regards to not only interactions between students, but the taping and the videoing of interactions between students. That is something I'm sad to hear has made it here at Hammonton. That is occurring, and that's not an excuse, and that doesn't mean it should. I mean, I just don't know if the rest of the non-school world realizes how destructive the influence of social media platforms like TikTok and others are with regards to interactions between students. It's a new pandemic. It really is. So thank you.
I was not aware of how bad things were until after this happened, and I started Googling school violence, and it's totally out of hand. It's ridiculous every single day how many stories are being reported. And all I'm asking is, I understand you can't address a single situation, but review your records. I know you're saying they're updated, but I was on the board for several years myself in Waterford. I know that they're updated, but usually you look at things that are changing, not necessarily always adding things in, and maybe you should be adding something in. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wishing to be heard? I see we have our representative from Town Council, Ms. Frodio here. Nothing this evening? Okay. I will close that second portion of the public comment, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Mr. Koya, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Fallon. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, and good night.